If you think a sitcom can spread strong humor from its cast to the audience, you're wrong. Dawn Wells, the actress best known for her role as Mary Ann Summers in Gilligan's Island, had to fight endlessly behind the scenes because of the suffocatingly demanding demands from producers. Likened to hell, Dawn Wells admits that she endured and hid the horrors of Gilligan's Island for many years. It wasn't until now that Dawn's secrets were revealed, which opened the audience's eyes to the hardships she went through. Watch this video to see what Dawn Wells had to go through. Dawn Wells, a former beauty queen from Reno, Nevada, embarked on a journey to Los Angeles in 1959, fueled by her aspirations for an acting career. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Wells did not possess the traditional Hollywood glamour. Instead, she radiated a girl-next-door appeal. In the initial phase of her career, she faced numerous challenging auditions that often ended in disappointment. Despite these setbacks, Wells's career began to gain momentum when she signed with a small agency. This partnership opened doors to commercial opportunities and minor walk-on roles in television, laying the groundwork for her burgeoning career. Her perseverance paid off in 1960 when she secured a significant opportunity, a co-starring role as a secretary in the drama series The Roaring Twenties. Wells's performance in this role was not just a personal triumph. It was also pivotal in establishing her presence in the entertainment industry. Her portrayal in The Roaring Twenties resonated with both audiences and industry professionals, paving the way for further opportunities. Wells soon found herself in high demand, with a series of guest appearances on popular primetime television shows like 77 Sunset Strip, Bonanza, and Maverick. These appearances not only showcased her acting skills, but also helped her to cultivate a reputation as a versatile and charismatic actress, capable of adapting to a variety of roles. Dawn Wells vividly recalled the bustling atmosphere of the 1960s television scene, a period characterized by an abundance of filming opportunities. This dynamic environment provided Wells with an average of 2 to 3 auditions per day, a testament to the thriving nature of the industry during that era. Despite not possessing the glitzy allure of some of her peers, such as Raquel Welch, Wells possessed a unique, approachable charm that resonated with audiences and casting directors alike. This charm, coupled with her earnestness and relatable persona, became her trademark in the industry. Her dedication to her craft and consistent networking efforts were integral to her career progression. By late 1963, Wells's hard work began to yield significant results. She received news of a casting call for a new sitcom, Gilligan's Island, which was poised to become a cultural phenomenon. The role in question was that of Mary Ann Summers, originally conceived as a minor character portraying a wholesome small-town girl from Kansas. Interestingly, the network also considered Raquel Welch for the role of Mary Ann. However, Wells' natural wholesomeness and girl-next-door appeal gave her an edge in the audition process. The producers envisioned Mary Ann as a stark contrast to Tina Louise's character, Ginger, who was conceived as a sultry movie star. Their intention was to juxtapose Ginger's glamour with Mary Ann's innocence. Therefore, while they had finalized the statuesque, red-haired Tina Louise for the role of Ginger, they were on the lookout for an actress who could embody the wholesome, innocent brunette that Mary Ann was meant to be. Dawn Wells, in her pursuit of the role, faced a critical juncture when she nearly lost the opportunity during the early stages of casting. However, her earnestness and the sweet sincerity she brought to the audition were precisely what the producers were seeking. Wells' portrayal resonated with the character's intended essence, ultimately securing her the role of Mary Ann. This moment marked a significant turning point in her career. Once Gilligan's Island premiered in late 1964, it quickly became a cultural sensation, and Wells's portrayal of Mary Ann played a vital role in its success. While she was not the top-billed star of the show, her character garnered immense popularity among viewers. Mary Ann's endearing, girl-next-door persona struck a chord with the audience, quickly elevating her to a fan favorite. By the show's second season, Wells' role had evolved significantly. Her prominence within the show increased, leading to her receiving shared billing alongside the rest of the ensemble cast. This recognition was a testament to her growing significance within the series and her appeal to the audience. Dawn Wells's transformation from a relatively unknown actress to a beloved sitcom star over just a few years was the result of her relentless dedication and strategic career choices. The behind-the-scenes dynamics of Gilligan's Island, particularly in relation to wardrobe and censorship, were more complex than what appeared on screen. Despite its wholesome on-air persona, the show faced significant censorship challenges, especially concerning the attire of its female cast members. Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann, was at the center of these issues. Network standards officials paid close attention to Wells' appearance on the show. They were particularly concerned about the potential make-love suggestiveness of her wardrobe. In an era where television censorship was stringent, the representation of female characters was closely monitored. As a result, Wells was required to wear high-waisted shorts that covered her belly button, a feature the censors deemed too provocative for public display. While Wells could tie her gingham shirt in a knot to expose her midriff, showing her navel was strictly off-limits. The restrictions went beyond just her belly button. Wells was also prohibited from showing cleavage and was not allowed to wear clothing that was in any way form-fitting. These wardrobe constraints were indicative of the conservative standards prevalent in television during that time. The censors, who were all male, exerted a significant influence over what was deemed appropriate for female characters to wear on screen, often reflecting broader societal norms and attitudes toward women. In a candid 2018 interview, Dawn Wells opened up about her experiences on the set of Gilligan's Island, particularly highlighting the intense focus on her body and how it made her feel objectified. As a young actress embarking on her first significant network acting role, Wells found herself under the scrutiny of male censors. This scrutiny was not just a matter of professional observation, but extended to a level that she perceived as an objectification of her body. Wells described how these men, responsible for enforcing the network's censorship standards, paid close attention to her torso, dictating what she could and could not wear. The level of wardrobe scrutiny she faced was, in her view, excessive, especially considering the family-friendly ethos of the 1960s television landscape. Despite the stringent censorship and the uncomfortable scrutiny, Wells did not harbor resentment. She acknowledged the protective environment created by the show's producer, Sherwood Schwartz. Schwartz's approach to production provided a wholesome and professional setting, which was particularly important for Wells, as she was just starting her career in a challenging industry. However, Tina Louise, who played the glamorous Ginger on the show, had a different experience and perspective. Louise felt even more constrained by the censorship and the expectations placed upon her. She was vocal about her frustrations to Schwartz, particularly regarding the pressure to participate in cheesecake-style publicity photos. These photos, designed to maximize her appeal, were a common expectation for young actresses at the time, but were understandably seen as demeaning. Louise's refusal to engage in such promotional tactics highlighted the tension between the expectations of female actors in that era and their personal comfort and agency. This dynamic was reflective of the broader societal attitudes towards women in media during the 1960s. While the industry demanded a certain level of allure and appeal from its female stars, actresses like Louise and Wells navigated these expectations with varying degrees of compliance and resistance. As an actress with serious ambitions in the film industry, Louise was particularly cautious about how her character, Ginger, was portrayed in terms of wardrobe. She insisted that her costumes be elegant rather than revealing. This insistence stemmed from her concern about maintaining a professional image that would enable her to transition back to more serious film roles in the future. Dawn Wells, on the other hand, seemed to have a different perspective on her role as Mary Ann. Wells did not share the same concerns as Louise, possibly due to her self-awareness about her positioning in the industry. She appeared to recognize that she might not be taken as seriously as a dramatic actress, a realization that perhaps influenced her more accepting stance toward the wardrobe restrictions and the overall portrayal of her character. Both actresses faced the challenge of walking a fine line. They needed to satisfy the censors' standards while still embodying characters that were attractive and credible to the audience. Louise's Ginger was a glamorous movie star, and Wells' Mary Ann was the quintessential farm girl, both requiring a certain level of allure and charm. Wells, in particular, seemed to take a pragmatic approach to the situation. While she did feel objectified by the intense focus on her body and the wardrobe constraints, she chose not to contest these industry norms vigorously. To her, these challenges were part of the business as usual in the entertainment industry, especially during that era. This perspective highlights a degree of resignation or acceptance that was often necessary for actresses in the highly controlled and male-dominated television industry of the 1960s. In 1962, just before the launch of Gilligan's Island, which would catapult her to fame, Dawn Wells entered into a significant personal milestone. She married talent agent and producer Larry Rosen. Their paths crossed through their professional lives in Hollywood, and a romantic relationship quickly blossomed between the two. Despite the joyous occasion, Wells and Rosen opted for a private Hawaiian wedding ceremony, deliberately keeping it away from the public eye. At the time, they made no announcements or efforts to publicize their marriage. Wells' decision to maintain privacy about her marital status was influenced by a confluence of professional and personal considerations. Professionally, Wells was conscious of the potential implications her marital status could have on her burgeoning acting career. Playing the role of the single, innocent Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island, she was concerned that being publicly known as a newlywed might complicate the public's perception of her character. The image of a single ingenue was a delicate one in the entertainment industry, especially in an era where public persona and private life were often intertwined in shaping an actor's career trajectory. On a personal level, Wells was also keen to shield her private life from the prying eyes of the media. She was wary of the potential tabloid intrusion that often accompanied public figures, particularly in Hollywood. The decision to keep her marriage with Rosen private was a strategic move to maintain a clear boundary between her professional life and personal affairs. In the 1960s, the intersection of personal life and public perception was a delicate balance for any actress, and Dawn Wells was acutely aware of this. The potential for her private life to become fodder for gossip and tabloid intrigue was a significant risk, one that she and her husband, Larry Rosen, were keen to mitigate. Their decision to keep their marriage private initially was not just a personal choice, but a strategic move in the context of Wells's rising career. Wells and Rosen believed that maintaining a low profile until her career was securely established with the success of Gilligan's Island was the wisest approach. They planned to gradually introduce their marital status to the public, thereby controlling the narrative around Wells' personal life. This cautious strategy was aimed at ensuring that her professional image remained untarnished and that her personal life did not overshadow her burgeoning acting career. However, the reality of a demanding filming schedule for Gilligan's Island complicated this plan. The show's success meant that Wells was deeply committed to long, grueling days on set. She was regularly engaged in learning new scripts and participating in the continuous production process, which left her with minimal free time. This hectic professional life significantly impacted her ability to devote time to her husband, even after their marriage became public knowledge. Dawn Wells, reflecting on her early years of marriage to Larry Rosen, candidly acknowledged in later interviews that her career, particularly her role in Gilligan's Island, overwhelmingly dominated her life during this critical period. The demands of her breakout role in the show made it exceedingly challenging for her to maintain a healthy balance between her burgeoning career and her relationship. Wells' commitment to Gilligan's Island extended beyond the filming set. She was frequently called upon to travel for publicity appearances related to the show. This constant travel further strained her ability to settle into married life, continuously pulling her away from the normalcy and stability that a new marriage often requires. The situation highlighted a common dilemma faced by actors, where professional demands often take precedence over personal life, leading to significant sacrifices in their private relationships. After 5 years of marriage, the strain of these competing demands led Wells and Rosen to the difficult decision to divorce in 1967. The couple amicably concluded that the relationship could not withstand the constant separation and the pressures associated with Wells's acting commitments. At the age of 28, facing divorce, Wells likely found herself reflecting on the challenging realities of show business, particularly how it impacts personal relationships. The dissolution of her marriage at such a young age and at a crucial point in her career was likely a poignant moment for Wells. It underscored the often harsh trade-offs required in the entertainment industry, where the pursuit of a successful career can have significant personal costs. This experience might have prompted her to ponder the complexities of navigating fame and personal fulfillment, a theme that resonates with many in the spotlight. The dynamics on the set of Gilligan's Island were complex, particularly the relationship between Dawn Wells and her co-star Tina Louise. While Wells generally had amicable relationships with most of her co-stars, her interactions with Louise were more challenging, marked by underlying tensions. Tina Louise, who portrayed the glamorous movie star Ginger on the show, reportedly had reservations about being part of an ensemble cast. She did not conceal her dissatisfaction with the nature of the show, often expressing that she felt the material of the sitcom was beneath her. Her discomfort with the show's comedic and lighthearted approach was a source of friction within the cast dynamics. A revealing incident from 1962 highlighted these tensions. An internal memo exposed Louise's demands to be the sole female lead on Gilligan's Island. She wanted Wells, who played the sweet and innocent Mary Ann, to be relegated to a more secondary role with fewer lines. This request was indicative of Louise's desire to dominate the female presence on the show and her reluctance to share the spotlight with Wells. The producers, however, did not acquiesce to Louise's demands, opting to maintain the ensemble nature of the show. This decision seemed to exacerbate the strain between Louise and the rest of the cast, in what appeared to be a reaction to the producers' rejection of her demands. Louise reportedly refused to participate in group publicity photos. These photos were meant to showcase the camaraderie among the cast members, an essential aspect of promoting the show's collaborative spirit. Dawn Wells' insights into the on-set dynamics of Gilligan's Island further highlight the strained relationship between her and Tina Louise, as well as Louise's interactions with other cast members. Wells noted that Louise tended to isolate herself during the production, choosing not to engage socially with her fellow actors between takes. This behavior created a noticeable divide between Louise and the rest of the cast, marking her as somewhat aloof and detached from the collaborative atmosphere typically found on a television set. Louise's focus on her career and her aspirations beyond Gilligan's Island were also points of contention. Wells observed that Louise was keen on not being typecast or overly associated with the show, a sentiment that was shared by co-star Bob Denver. Denver was more forthright in his comments, stating that Louise did not want to associate with the rest of the cast, a reflection of her desire to maintain a certain professional distance from the sitcom. The genesis of Louise's involvement in Gilligan's Island also sheds light on her attitude towards the show. Initially, Louise had turned down the offer to play the role of Ginger. She accepted it only after learning that established Hollywood film veterans like Jim Backus, known for his role in Rebel Without a Cause, were cast. Louise's decision to join the show seemed to be predicated on the belief that the presence of such veterans would elevate the show's profile and potentially her role within it. Louise envisioned a scenario where her character would dominate the episodes, and the ensemble nature of the show would be downplayed. However, Gilligan's Island was conceptualized and executed as a show with no breakout star, where all characters received equal attention and importance. This egalitarian approach to character development and screen time likely contributed to Louise's feelings of resentment. Her desire to stand out and be the focal point of the show clashed with the producers' and writers' vision of a balanced ensemble cast. Wells fully embraced the team spirit and the ensemble nature of the show. She often spoke fondly of the cast and crew, describing them as kind and familial. Wells perceived their shared experience on the show as a collective journey, one in which everyone was involved together. This perspective reflects Wells' appreciation for the collaborative process of television production and her ease in being part of a group dynamic. Despite the challenges posed by Louise's more isolated and demanding behavior, Wells appeared to be unfazed. She didn't let Louise's diva attitude affect her own experience on the show, choosing instead to focus on the positive aspects of her working environment. Wells found a sense of camaraderie and warmth in her relationships with other co-stars, such as Jim Backus, Bob Denver, and Russell Johnson. This positive rapport with her fellow cast members likely contributed to her overall enjoyable experience on the set. Professionally, Wells maintained a gracious and diplomatic stance when it came to public comments about Louise. In a 2020 interview, she acknowledged Louise's beauty and appeal, noting that she had learned a lot from her. Wells also contrasted their characters on Gilligan's Island, highlighting the wholesome, approachable, and attainable qualities of her own character, Mary Ann. This comparison subtly underlined the differences in their on-screen personas and perhaps their off-screen personalities as well. However, it is suggested that Wells might have privately found Louise difficult to work with, a sentiment that was seemingly shared by others on set. This speculation points to the complexity of working relationships in a close-knit production like a TV show, where differing personalities and professional approaches can create undercurrents of tension. Wells' ability to maintain a positive attitude and focus on the more agreeable aspects of her work environment speaks to her professionalism and her capacity to navigate the challenges of working within a diverse ensemble cast. The end of Gilligan's Island in 1967 marked the beginning of a challenging phase in Dawn Wells's career, as she struggled to break free from the typecasting associated with her role as Mary Ann. In a 2017 interview with the Los Angeles Times, Wells expressed her desire to move beyond the Mary Ann persona, even considering roles as far removed as that of a hooker in an effort to showcase her versatility as an actress. Her frustration with being pigeonholed into the wholesome girl-next-door archetype was palpable, a sentiment common among actors known for iconic television roles. Wells's first major role post-Gilligan's Island was a deliberate and stark departure from Mary Ann. She starred as a prostitute in a stage production of The Owl and the Pussycat in the late 1960s. This choice was a conscious effort to demonstrate her range and to shed her good girl image from the small screen. However, this strategy did not yield the desired results in terms of her screen career. Casting agents and directors continued to see her predominantly as the wholesome Mary Ann, making it difficult for her to secure diverse and substantive roles in film and television. This persistent typecasting led to her being overlooked for numerous projects. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Wells appeared in various TV shows, often in one-off roles. Yet she struggled to find another hit series or break away from being cast in familiar roles like bubbly secretaries, nurses, and housewives. She rarely, if ever, was cast as a femme fatale or in a serious leading role. In a conversation with CNN, Wells mentioned that her identification with Mary Ann hindered her from getting a wide range of work post-Gilligan's Island. The typecasting extended to theater as well, where directors often presumed audiences wanted to see Wells in roles similar to Mary Ann. This assumption closed off opportunities for her to explore darker, more complex characters on stage. The persistence of this typecasting throughout her career was a source of frustration for Wells, particularly during the prime years of her acting career. However, as Wells grew older, she found a way to make peace with the typecasting. She came to appreciate the enduring popularity of Mary Ann and the joy the character brought to generations of fans. Wells embraced her iconic role, frequently attending Gilligan's Island fan conventions and comfortably slipping back into her character as the plucky farm girl. This acceptance and appreciation of her role as an indelible part of pop culture signify a shift in Wells' perspective, acknowledging the impact and legacy of Mary Ann on her life and career. What do you think about Dawn Wells' revelations during the filming of Gilligan's Island? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.